Oh, hi. So welcome to my show, and thanks for doing this. Thanks for giving your time out of your busy schedule. So yeah, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm good,
How's the day
thank you.
going?
Yeah, it's good. Dropped my son off to school this morning. Started the day having a conversation with you. So it's going good. What about you?
Awesome. Yeah, it's going. It's just 5 a.m. right now, so I'm starting my day with you. So
Well,
awesome. So yeah, you. So welcome, guys. This is Kaitlyn Elise. She is a business growth strategist and a scaling service. She has a scaling service-based business. So yeah, could you please tell me like what is this and how did you start your journey and how did you like figure out so that this is what you want to do? And yeah, so it's like how did how did you like is it a childhood like dream or something like that?
no, this was not my childhood dream. It became my adult dream. My childhood dream, actually, when I was 6 years old, I played Monopoly and I loved it. I loved it so much and I wanted to be a banker. So I actually became a banker. That was my childhood dream. And it was during my career at the bank that I was asked to be the business specialist. And so I took on the role, and I was so scared. To me, business was just another world. I was terrified. And so I did it, and I ended up being number two business specialist in Australia. And it was a really lovely experience to learn, the strategy, how to help people at all levels grow their business and start a business. And I got to a point when I was 26 and I had a quarter life crisis. And I thought, if I stay in this office and I continue to do this, what will my life be like? And then I just had this immense dread feeling, and I was like, I can't keep doing this path. This isn't what I want to do anymore. So I took a career break and moved from Australia to the UK. And then from there, I discovered that I really missed working with CEOs and business owners. And so when I started traveling again, I then opened my laptop and went, right, what the hell can I do to earn money online? That was my question, because I needed to stay with my partner who was English and I was Australian, and we didn't have a visa to each other's countries. So I just started doing what I knew how to do, business plans, pitch decks, and I started getting paid for it, started signing on clients. And then over the last 6 years, it's evolved to be a business and executive coach as well as a strategist. So it was definitely not something I ever thought I wanted to do. It's something I had to do. But I've grown to love the journey of it so much more because I've done it now for 6 years.
Oh, wow, such a story. Awesome. So yeah, do you like guide people who are doing jobs and like want to become entrepreneurs and like they have no idea like you, right? So you had some crisis like you don't want to you just like when you do jobs and you feel stuck, so you don't want to do it forever. So and then can they scale it to seven figures as well, or like do it's just that you work with CEOs?
No, so I do. I'm working with a couple of startups at the moment. One's a hairdresser wanting to start up a global empowerment brand, and the other one does design, and she's wanting to work and sell in the luxury space. So I definitely help people start their business, and I've actually started a YouTube channel to help people more at that stage, because I know from an investment standpoint, not a lot of people can invest when they're at a startup stage. Um, and so I do work with people at different levels. So startup, five figures, six, seven, and eight. But I find that it's quite similar, the path, no matter what level you're at. So the path of there's always going to be self-doubt. There's always going to be insecurity. There's always going to be fear. Doesn't matter where you are, that is always there. I think a lot of people have a preconceived idea that when you hit a certain level, the fear goes away. It doesn't. It will always be there. So, what's really important is to learn how to navigate those moments of fear so you don't stop when you're fearful, you just keep going.
Oh, okay. So like so like do you help people like if they don't know what they want to like do like you said like right, so if someone is doing a 9 to 5 job and they want to become an entrepreneur want to make money online, so do you help them as well or do you have any advice for them?
Yeah, so for those people, I'd suggest looking at my YouTube channel because that's how I literally teach you the skills you need to acquire. Because the thing is, when you're wanting to be an entrepreneur, resilience and discipline, self-discipline is really important because the resilience is the ability to get back up, to turn a no into a yes, because you're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes. It's not going to be perfect. But the beauty of that is you get to learn how you stand back up. So for anybody who's wanting to go from a 9 to 5 into business, what I did, because I had to make money because we were traveling Southeast Asia and I was with my now fiance. And so it was a necessity for me to make money. So I was like, I've got to do this. How do I do this? And I didn't use social media or a website until just recently. So I made all my money like on other platforms because I went directly where the clients are. So when you're just starting business, you need feedback to know if you like what it is that you're doing. So the best way to start is go list what you're good at. Like what have you been paid to do before? And when you list what you've been paid to do before, you have confidence in it. So for me, I'd been paid to help people reach financial goals and reach business goals. That was my thing. So I was like, cool, that's what I can do. And then you break it down. And it's like, well, what do you like to do out of those lists? Like, what do you really love to do? And then you ask yourself, who do you want to work with? Because that's all it is. It's who are you wanting to work with? What can you do now? And then where are your ideal clients? So for me, my ideal clients were on Upwork at the time. So I would just be on Upwork. And that's how I signed my clients within a few days of deciding what I wanted to do. And then I tested it out and went, cool, I liked this about the project. I didn't like this about the project.
Okay. So like maybe there are some people who can't find out like what they love to do. I don't know if this makes sense or not. Like because you're like being programmed to, study, get a job, and we do things that we hate to earn money, right? So like there may be some people who like don't know what they love to do. So is there any specific steps to find out what we love to do, or
Mhm.
like and like how do we like yeah find it out? Like
So, really good question. Really good question. Because I think for me, I was doing something similar in a corporate environment to what I'm doing now, but I've put a spin on it. But I hated what I was doing then, and I love what I'm doing now. And the love for me has come because I've explored what I do not like. And that's where the mistakes and the failures come in across the journey. You're not, a lot of the times we don't just wake up and go, I love this. This is the best. It's taken me 6 years to get here to go, I love what I do now because I tried so many other things that I didn't like. This is what I know lights me on fire. And the thing with this is it's a journey. It is not a destination. You will always be growing, you'll always be learning, you'll always be changing and evolving. So if at the moment you're like, I don't love my job, I don't really love my life, I don't really know what I want to do, just focus in on the small moments throughout your day of what you do like to do. Because all you're trying to do now is refocus from the things you're doing that you hate and everything in your life that you're not enjoying to focus on the things that you do like. And it could be the smallest of things. You like going for a walk, so just allow yourself to go for a walk a little bit more. And then you're training yourself to focus on the things that you like to do, which means you'll start doing more of the things you like, and then that will evolve and grow. It's just changing your perspective, but that comes in intentional action.
awesome, that's a great advice. That's one of the like most minute advices I've ever got. So yeah, that's awesome. So like you've done really great in Upwork. You're like almost a queen in Upwork. So like, do you have any experience? I mean, so what are your advices if a young man or woman wants to start an Upwork?
Yeah. So differentiate yourself because I know when you're starting, it can be really noisy. A lot of people are telling you what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and it gets really, really noisy, and you start getting clouded and overwhelmed with, I should take their advice, I should do that, and you stop listening to what you actually want to do. So, what I would always suggest is if you want to try Upwork, which is a really lovely platform for you to be able to reach clients or people straight away who give you feedback if they want to pay for what you're offering or if they don't. And if they don't, it's just feedback to go, how can you refine it? How can you improve it? So, just on Upwork, figure out what you can do. And it can be the smallest things people need. There will always be somebody who wants to buy what it is that you're offering. Just get specific with what you're offering. Make it simple. So, for example, if you're a video editor or if you're like, I want to try video editing, then just write specifically what you can do. So, it's like, I can edit a 5-minute YouTube video in a day, and this is what it looks like, and provide that. And there's a way that you stand out in the market. And for me, the way I stand out in the market is I don't look at my competitors. I don't look at anybody else because then I'm getting influenced by them. I just go, what is it that I can offer? What is it that people need? And let me just find them and do that. So my USP, the way I stand out in the market is I merge coaching, so the mental, the emotional journey of entrepreneurship with the strategy. Where in my industry, there's a lot of people who does one or the other, but I merge both, and I love to do both. Um, so don't look too much at what other people are doing. Just look at what you want to do and just take the small daily action. Because if you take daily action, you'll create a habit in 21 days, and that starts to become who you are, which moves you from who you are now to who you want to be a lot quicker.
Oh wow. So just talking to you, you have like sorted out your life so much spiritually as well. So like you're so clear and like I've never heard like anyone explain so clearly what they do. Not only are you expert and now on the outside, but in the inside you're like very clear. So like is it like from the do you are you good like fond of reading books?
I love reading books. I love reading books. I think the reason for me it's evolved spiritually because I've had to become so self-aware. Because when I got knocked down early and I got like people would say no to me, it would knock me for weeks. And I just didn't want to get back up. And so I had to really dig deep and figure out and shift who I wanted to be so I could stand back up. And that's what I say. Like the resilience is really important in entrepreneurship and discipline, because there's this preconceived idea that being an entrepreneur is it's freeing and you do the life you love and stuff, but it ebbs and flows. Like right now, I love my life and I'm so free and I'm so fortunate. But it's going to ebb and flow, and then what's going to happen at one stage is I'm going to evolve beyond what I'm offering now, and I'm going to want to change it, and so I'm going to dip and flow, and it's all welcomed, it's all possible, because that's how you change, that's how you grow. So self-awareness would be one of the greatest advice I can give any new entrepreneur. Figure out who you are, and the best place to start for that is to do a personality test. I did a Myers-Briggs 16personalities.com. It's free, takes 5-10 minutes. And that allowed me to understand who I am and the way I should place myself in my business so that I could start building a business around my personality and strengths. So just start where you are.
Awesome. So is there any books that you recommend?
So depends where you are. So some people have a real they struggle with receiving money and making more money. And there's lots to do with their money mindset, how they earn money, how they spend money. There's like resentment. The book that I started reading when I wanted to shift my money was You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero, because she has really practical activities in there, how to shift your mindset. Because if you resent money, if you feel stressed about money, money just amplifies how you feel. So if you're already stressed about money and you get more money, you're going to feel more stressed. But you can change how you feel about money, so it's going to become easier. Another thing about it from a self-awareness standpoint, the book I read by Jay Shetty, Think Like a Monk, he gives you some activities and some breathing exercises to give you clarity. Because what's going to happen is you're going to be in the fear zone, you're going to go up and down, but your breathing is going to help bring you down. um, and The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. So he actually talks about when everything's about to up level, when your money's getting bigger, when you're about to have a breakthrough through your business, we self-sabotage and there's chaos that happens. So it's actually a really beautiful indication to know you're doing the right thing. Those were the books that really transformed for me. I really, really loved those ones. Have you read any books about entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I've read Crushing It and Rich Dad Poor Dad
Yeah.
and Science of Advertising by Hopkins, Patsy
Mhm.
Hopkins. Yeah, these three I've read, and I still want to read like 12 books this year.
Yeah.
I'm not that much of a big reader, so I'm doing like one book per month.
Right.
So I got
Read The Science of Storytelling,
okay. Wow, awesome.
because that's because of COVID and everything that's happened in the world, people buy from trust now more so than flashy diamonds. It's more trust. Can they trust in the consumer, trust in the person they're buying, and they trust you based on the stories you tell, the relatable stories. So it's very much about being authentically you and telling your story in your own unique way. So that will really help you. So the science of storytelling.
Okay, got you. I'll do that. That's on my list now. So coming to you, like to your professional work. So like you work with some like many entrepreneurs from six figure to eight, seven figure, I guess,
Mhm.
CEOs. So what are the most common roadblocks that you see hindering their success, regardless of their income level?
Um, they're their own bottleneck. So they are at the center of their business, meaning every decision has to go through to them. Every person needs to talk to them. Every client needs to go to them. So if you're the bottleneck of your business, you only have so much freedom in your business. So what's happened is they've built a business with them at the core. So what I help them do is I shift that to build the business or restructure the business so the mission and the vision is at the core, and then there's other elements that are attached to that. Another big challenge I find is the stress and overwhelm. I think we overcomplicate businesses for many, many different reasons. And the more we grow, the more we feel we need to complicate things. But the more you grow, it's a great reminder to go back to what worked at the start. What were the few steps that worked, and just replicate that. That's all you're trying to do. Um, and what was the third one? Time management. So a lot of people allow others to dictate how their calendar should be, what their time should look like. But if you actually reverse it and go, no, this is what I'm doing with my day, can that fit around it? Yes or no? If it can't, it can't. If it can, it can. So because when you allow other people to dictate your calendar, you're giving them the power of your day, of your energy, of your focus. So really getting yourself in a place of, nope, this is how I've structured my calendar and this is what I need. Um, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So that's great tips again. So yeah, you mentioned like there are some that changing and emotional habits and thought patterns are crucial.
Mm.
So can you share some specific examples of how this habits benefits like entrepreneurs and how to begin shifting them?
Yeah. So a reoccurring pattern I'm seeing at the moment is people are coming to me because they're stuck. And they're stuck at the starting phase all the way up to eight figures. Well, it doesn't matter. Everyone comes to me at the moment, they're like, I'm stuck. When they're stuck in their business, it's normally an indication that they're stuck in a habit of thought. And a habit of thought is creating an emotion. Now, our brains are wired on repetition, on patterns, on habits. That's how it's programmed. So, unless we actively change it, our yesterday is going to be very much the same as today, and today will be very similar to tomorrow. But this is where we need to start evolving and actively choosing something different to grow differently. So, when people are stuck in a habit, the first thing I ask them to do is set a reminder on their phone that says, what am I thinking of right now? And it goes off randomly throughout the day. So what they'll do is they'll see that reminder, then they'll stop and go, what am I thinking right now? And this brings awareness to your thoughts. When you have awareness of your thoughts, you can change them. And so when I do this activity, everyone comes back and they go, I cannot believe how hard I've been on myself. Because their habit of thought, even though they're like, I want to do this, I want to do that, their habit of thought is, I can't do this. Who am I to do this? This is never going to work, which is a fear cycle. But when you can bring awareness to this and go, well, actually, what am I thinking right now? I'm thinking I can't do this. How can I shift that to be just a little bit more supportive? And that would be, well, I am doing this, so I guess I'll just keep doing it. And it's the smallest shift. And when one thing changes, everything changes. Because when you change one thought, you create a new emotion, you create a better emotion. When you create a better emotion, your outcome is better because you feel better. It's the most simplistic exercise that so many people don't do because it's a self-sabotaging behavior. Um, and this is where it comes that this is where self-awareness is so important as well. Just being aware of your thoughts, being aware of what stops you, what you self-sabotage. So that's what I would suggest if somebody's stuck in a it's because they're normally in a habitual thought pattern that's not helping them.
Awesome. Very great. So, like, what are the most impactful micro steps that you've seen entrepreneurs take that have led to their significant breakthroughs? Like, while you're coaching, there comes a moment where, like, oh, the guy is improving. Like, so, what are the most impactful micro steps that you've seen entrepreneurs do it?
So there's been quite a few. So the one that's coming to mind now is gentleman I worked with. He wanted to hit six figures. So he's like, I want to hit six figures this year. I want to do it. And I've got a video on my YouTube that says how I hit 120K in like a really short amount of time. But it's people are going to go a bit. A lot of people will go, oh yeah, but that's easy for you because it's you. It's not. We all go through the same journey of fear. So for this gentleman, and he's like, I want to hit six figures. What happens after that is when you declare you want something new, you want a new income level, whatever it might be, fear is going to come up because fear is just your mind trying to keep you safe. Because from an evolutionary standpoint, our brains are there to keep us safe, and it knows how to keep us safe when we're in a familiar territory. So he came to me on our next call and he's like, Kaitlyn, I'm feeling really stuck. I'm feeling really fearful. Like, I don't know what's going on. And so what happens is we avoid the feeling of fear, which means we avoid taking action. So I did an activity with him and I said, let's just close your eyes for me, please, and just actually be aware of the fear that's in your body. And it was in his chest. And he's like, God, it feels like so tight. I'm like, just breathe into it. And it only takes 90 seconds to process an emotion. That's it. It's only 90 seconds to process an emotion. So I was like, just sit with it for 90 seconds. And he did. He processed the fear. And all of a sudden, his brain started, like the chaos in his mind dissipated because he wasn't stuck in that. I can't feel this because if you're going, I can't feel it, you're not processing it, which means it's stuck. And this goes to the habitual thoughts. And through it, he's like, oh my God, I realized I was so scared of becoming like my father that I didn't want to make money because of the way that he hurt us when he made money. And it's the most incredible thing because our emotions hold memories. So he's like, I'm scared. I don't want to do this because of this. But he didn't know it until he actually took a moment to feel what he was feeling. And from that, he's like, I'm going to just keep going. Like, I know I can because I'm different. I'm different than him. It was so beautiful. Like, it was such a wonderful moment of just of bravery to actually sit with his emotions. And another person I've been working with was making £300,000 a year, but he was stuck on the same amount each year. He'd been making the same amount for about 3 years. And so when somebody's making the same amount, I know they're stuck in a really big habit. So to shift that habit, you need to start putting in boundaries. So boundaries mean who's a yes client and who's a no client. So I helped him with that. I'm like, right, this is who you're saying yes to, this is who you're saying no to. And so in a year, it used to take him 300. It used to take him a year to earn £300,000. In 16 days of this year, he's already hit 380,000 because he's changed his habits and patterns. And that is
Yeah.
the strength of this. When you're aware of what you're doing and then you take intentional action, everything changes.
Uh, so like I think you have won like some awards for for all of your work.
Mm.
So what are your some of your biggest lessons you have learned from your own entrepreneurial journey that you now share with your clients?
But for me, your business will only grow as much as you grow. So if your business isn't growing, it's because you're not growing. And growth means being uncomfortable. Growth means doing things that you might feel scared about doing, but it's being able to hold space for that fear, like I did with that client, and then just processing it. You need to just be. It's taken me 6 years to get here, and I still have so much further to go. But when you can just own your own bullshit, like honestly, you can own the stories of what you've been telling yourself about why, how somebody did you wrong, and this person hurt you back in preschool, so now you're holding a grudge. You can just rewrite all of those stories because they're taking so much energy from you, and just like remove all of your past, forgive it, move from it. You'll have more energy and mental capacity to build your present and your future. And for me, in my first year of business, I earned 12K. The second year of business, I earned 180K because I got so clear on the stories that came up, and I noticed, and like I remember I was working in the office one day, I was typing away, and then a memory of me as a child came up. And then I literally was feeling this anger towards this person. I was like, what the hell am I doing? I'm trying to build a life today, and I'm fixated on something that happened 20 odd years ago. And then I just rewrote the story and I just changed it. And so then you forgive and you let go of all the things that aren't going to help you get to where you want to get to, and you have so much more energy when you do that. When you've got that much more energy, that's when you get back up when you fall down. That's when you go, oh my god, I learned so much, that's awesome, let's do this again. But it's when you're feeling depleted, like there's no energy, it's because you're giving so much energy to the wrong things in your life, and that can be like past mistakes and you're just fixated on it. So if you really want to change your life, start by changing today and the thoughts you think today.
Wow. So what are some of the biggest personal sacrifices you've made on your entrepreneurial journey, and how did you like overcome them? How did you say like it's okay, it's just worth it?
So for me, a sacrifice, I have sold everything numerous times in my life now throughout this entrepreneurial journey. And to me, losing everything, I don't care about. Like I'm like, yeah, fine. Like sacrificed everything to build this because I knew it was worth it. But I think for me, the sacrifice has been the emotions, the emotional loneliness. Because entrepreneurship, for me, the journey's been evolving from who I was to who I want to be. And there's a gap in the middle where there's elements of loneliness. And when I felt lonely, I didn't reach out to friends. I didn't reach out to family. I just kind of stayed in my own loneliness. So I sacrificed like time with friends and time with family because I wanted to be able to stand back up on my own 2 feet. But I built a business. I lived so over the last 6 years. I've lived in 5 different countries, and we've had a surprise pregnancy. My partner and I are now engaged, so we've had a lot of lessons, a lot of bumps, a lot of "Are you sure you can do this? Are you strong enough to do this?" And there's been a lot of tears and self-discovery, and oh my god, can I do this? You know, I sold my house, I sold my shares, everything to try and create a life that I knew I wanted to live. And I would do it again and again and again because when you've lost it all, when you're at the depths of, you know, potential sadness and shifting your identity, you find this inner power you never knew you had. And then you can conquer anything, then you can do anything, and that is irreplaceable. To me, it's always about who you become in the process, not necessarily what you achieve. But for me, I've become so happy. I've become so grateful for my life. I've become such a calmer kind of person. You can ask for help now, where before I was so much more just like, I've got to make this work, I've got to be successful. Now I'm just like, I am successful and I'm happy. Um, so yeah.
Wow, awesome. So great to hear that. From this our conversation, like this is one of I've been so mind blown by not only like I thought it would be like very superficial
Nah.
about just about entrepreneurship. It's so much deeper than I like really thought, and it's one of the best. Like whatever you said is one of the best things I've ever heard. To be
Oh,
honest,
thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
So awesome, you're awesome. Just
And
and what? Sorry.
you're awesome as well. I think it's beautiful that you're asking these questions to probe deeper, because the thing is, as long as it's superficial, it'll only feel superficial. When you allow the questions to be deeper, when you allow yourself to become a bit more self aware and go a bit deeper into your thoughts, then life becomes more fulfilling. And that's when the love of what you do, the love for yourself is found, because it's no longer just I have to look like this. It's like, well, I get to feel like this and it can look like this. So yeah.
And yeah, even to like how to feel the way you want to feel. So those steps that you can actually apply. Wow, awesome. So, like, what's the one thing that you want our listeners to take away that will help them on their own entrepreneur journey?
No one is born successful. You have to work for it. And that work means years of coming up against yourself. That means building resilience moment by moment. That means choosing again. That means making mistakes. That means forgiving. The road of entrepreneurship is the greatest journey you'll ever be on. And a journey means sadness and joy, it's everything in between. So if you really want to change your life, if you really want to do something different, the greatest piece of advice I can provide you is the first thing in the morning, write down for 5 minutes the life you want as though you've already lived it. Because what you're doing is you're programming your mind to believe it's true, which means it's going to find it for you and you're going to receive it a hell of a lot quicker. Because if you live your day to day like you did yesterday, your tomorrow will be the same. But if you just take 5 minutes at the start of your day and just allow yourself to pretend as if your life is the way you want it to be, you're creating it. If you don't conceptualize what you want, you will never be able to achieve it because you don't know what it is you want. To start writing the life you want every single day. And before long, you'll have it, and then you'll write a new life, and then a new life. You don't need to know how it's going to happen. You just need to know what you want and why you want it. That's it.
Wow, awesome. So yeah, so saying that, I would like to close our show for today. It was great talking to you. I was like, I'm mind blown. Like my morning has become blast blastful. So
You are so welcome.
yeah. So, like, where can listeners learn more about your work and what you do? Like you mentioned about your YouTube. So, what's your YouTube channel? And I know you have a vision template as well, right? So, like, if
Yes.
you want to talk more about it, then yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so my YouTube would be best for startups because I've got a whole playlist of how to start a business, like from the how do you actually sign a client to what do you do internally to shift. So it's called Grow with Kaitlyn, Kaitlyn with a K. So Grow with Kaitlyn on my YouTube, and my Instagram's the same. And I'm actually in the process of redefining and restructuring my website and the offerings that I have. I've realized a lot of, what you said about before about the superficial. I love the depth of the work that I do and helping people uncover that. So a lot of what I'm starting to create now is about how to get unstuck, how to actually move and create momentum. Because when you got momentum, you got spark. So you can find those on my website, which will be updated shortly at www.thekcc.co.
Okay, so everything will be given in the description below. So, yeah, thank you so much for joining in. It was great, awesome. Yeah, have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Yeah.